I was able to bring the Instapot. I brought pots and pans, dishes, plastic dishes, obviously.
When I checked the trailer out before I bought it, I made sure that it would actually fit a full-size queen mattress in here.
We wanted to have at least one slide just for the extra space.
So the idea is that we take the trailer as far as it'll go, and if it can't go any farther, then we take the truck and four-wheel. I'm Steve.
I'm Raina.
This is our tow behind 23-foot travel trailer. Come take a tour.
So one of the really nice things about having the trailer is having a little bit extra space. A lot of people are in vans or they're in other rigs, and those are awesome, but we just wanted a little bit more comfort of home. And primarily the kitchen's a big deal to me because I cook a lot. So when Steve brought the trailer home initially, it was a little rough around the edges. Everything was brown and tan and sand. And I just looked at him and I was like, can we make it pretty? And so we started with the kitchen design. We knew we wanted subway tile, but tile is so heavy and we needed to save on weight. So we went with peel and stick, which has done pretty good. There's a couple of spots it's getting a little wonky, but for the most part, it's pretty good. And then we replaced the sink. There was like a white plastic sink in here before, and so we put this really nice stainless steel one in. We got the really nice faucet, and then I was really passionate about getting something to where we wouldn't have to worry about separating our drinking water from our washing water. So we just went ahead and put the filter in. That made me very happy. Another thing about the kitchen that I really like, and also in other parts of the trailer, is Steve put these handy dandy little touch lights in, and they're also adjustable, which is really nice. We replaced the countertop. These are just wood slats put together from Lowe's. We went with that instead of butcher block just because butcher block is heavy and expensive, and this was cheaper and it saved us on weight. One of the things about the trailer that's kind of a bummer and the kitchen is there's not a lot of counter space, as you can see. So Steve engineered this handy dandy little shelf that just pops right up and pops right down. Another thing that we obviously did in the entire trailer was we painted it, and we got pretty lucky. Colors take on a whole different life when you bring them inside and there's shadows and different lights. But we're pretty happy with the colors, a lot better than brown and sand. So we do have a microwave, which is nice. And if our battery is charged enough, we can run the microwave for just a couple of minutes, 1 or 2 minutes at a time, and don't have to run the generator. But if we have to heat up multiple things, we do have to run the generator to be able to do that. Another fabulous thing about having space is having cupboard space for all of your cooking goodies, food. I was able to bring the Instapot. I brought pots and pans, dishes, plastic dishes, obviously. When you're on the road, there aren't a lot of comforts of home. Everything takes longer. So having like comfort of food from home really makes a difference in this lifestyle. The other feature that we have that's actually pretty neat is our oven. I don't use it very often. Well, it's summertime right now, so it's too hot to use the oven. But I have baked cookies in it before, and I have baked pork chops in it before. But it is nice to have it for extra storage and then have it in case we're feeling like we want some cookies. This is our dinette. We spend a lot of time here. My main love affair with the dinette is these handy dandy little cupboard doors that Steve installed. We found these doors and they were just like, I think they were 75 cents a piece or they were $1.50 a piece. It was cheap. And so we put these on in a couple different places in the trailer just to have ease of access. One of the other things that I really like about the dinette is the fact that we were able to pick the fabric for the cushions, and Steve's mom is an excellent seamstress, and so she recovered all of these for us, because if we would have had to buy brand new ones and have them sent to a shop and have someone sew them, it would have been pretty expensive. So we saved a lot on being able to do that, and then we just kept the existing cushions. As you can clearly see, we have a lot of windows here. The blinds that were in the trailer when we bought it were just completely destroyed. So we looked into blinds, and I had no idea that trailer blinds were so expensive. So we came up with a different plan. We got blackout panels from Walmart. I think we got 4 total, and measured the dimensions of the windows, and Steve's mom cut and sewed them all to fit each window perfectly. And then we did something just super simple. We did cord and we did eyelets, and they just move back and forth, and they don't look crazy pretty, but they were really cheap. The whole thing probably cost us, I would say, maybe 30 bucks to do all of the windows in the trailer. In this life, you see a lot of different rigs that people live in. You see vans, you see ambulances, you see all kinds of different stuff. And some of them are really nice, but they're really expensive. And so one of the things that Steve and I didn't want to do was we didn't want to go into debt to be able to live like this. We wanted to do it as cost effective as possible. And there were certain things that we sacrificed, aesthetic, to be able to get to the goal of being, you know, debt free. You don't have to pay $100,000 for something to live in it and have it look nice. So the other thing that we did was we took out the table that was here because it was really ugly and it was a little bit too big. It probably came out another, I would say 6 inches, and we had to really shimmy past it and squeeze in it, and we didn't like that. We wanted more space to be able to move around and get through comfortably. So we put a different table in. We did go with the butcher block, which was actually given to us from a friend of ours. It was left over from his kitchen build in his house. The other thing we did with the dinette was when we got the trailer and Steve brought it home, there was carpet all around this area. Just this one little strip and under here. And I thought to myself, why would someone put just a teeny tiny bit of carpet in a trailer and you don't have a vacuum to take care of it? So we ripped it out and he replaced it with the veneer. And the slide is fantastic as well. A lot of people are really down on slides in trailers, but it afforded us so much more space. And I mean, we're living in this thing. It's not a weekend warrior. We wanted to have at least one slide just for the extra space, and it was worth it. It hasn't given us any trouble yet. We're originally from northern Nevada, a small rural farming town about an hour east of Reno. And last year, we got word that Steve's job was going to end.
I'm a helicopter mechanic by trade, and I was for about 22 years. And the military decided to lay off, they closed our contract, so they decided to lay off our entire contract of about 30 people. So myself and my coworkers, we were laid off, and we used that as our jumping off point to hop into the trailer. We weren't sure what we were gonna do, but we did know that I didn't want to continue working a job that wasn't going to allow me to see the outside as much as we would like to see it.
We're big outdoors people. We love hiking, we love biking, we love kayaking. We love pretty much anything outside that you can think of. We like to explore ghost towns. We just like to go check stuff out. Waterfalls. We love being outside.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful opportunity.
Yeah. No, it was the opportunity. It was the push to the shove.
We weren't really that sad. A lot of people were like, "Oh my God, that's horrible." And we were like, actually, we're gonna go do this really cool thing, and we're really excited.
I made really good money. Like the job was really good money, and it was really hard to leave. And so they pretty much helped us make the decision to start this life.
Yeah.
And so we rented out our house. We packed up all of our belongings. We bought a used travel trailer. We remodeled it, and we moved into it.
Steve and Raina, making lemonade from lemons for going on 15 years now.
Yeah, pretty much. One of the nice things about this trailer, when we got it, it came with this entertainment center that kind of separates the two areas. We wanted to have a bedroom that was separate from the rest of the trailer. That way one of us, if they wanted to lay down, we could. We draw these curtains right here. With the curtains drawn and the curtains from the windows drawn, it's actually like it's blacked out in here. Like it's a cave inside there, which is fantastic. So if somebody wants to sleep in, they can totally sleep in, and it's fantastic. This entertainment center really helps to separate the space, so it blocks some of the sound. I mean, we live in a tiny box, so sound's going to travel anyways, but it's also great storage. We're also avid video gamers. I put this swivel mount on here, and we brought 2 PS4s. So I've got one here, and that's Raina's, and then I also have here. I have another PS4 up here, and then the Switch. And this is also where I keep my drone, alcohol, keys, the usual stuff like that. This is kind of the gadget/alcohol cabinet. Coming down here, this is more of Raina's cabinet, but it's also a fantastic place to store our stuff for the kitty. So our treats and all of our stuff that goes in here, this is where Ellie's stuff is, so we can kind of have a spot for it so we can reach it as soon as we go out the door. Because a lot of times when we're headed out of the door, we got to grab her stuff and go. So The entertainment center has great storage on the front side. In addition to that, it also has storage on the back side as well. I mounted another TV up here at a nice angle so that when we're laying in bed, we can watch TV. Plus, Raina typically games on this TV. We've got some storage down here at the bottom that has a couple things and knickknacks and whatnot. And then again, storage, because it's a small space. We watch a lot of videos that people talked about using hooks. And so as you can see behind me, Raina's got her glasses, her hats. On that wall, I have my hats, my glasses as well too, because you have to find a spot to store things wherever you can possibly do it without getting in the way, because it's such a tight space, so you have to be careful with that. One of the things I'm extremely proud of is the bedroom. When I checked the trailer out before I bought it, I made sure that it would actually fit a full-size queen mattress in here versus the standard RV mattress, which is shorter. I had to build a little platform to go farther out so we could actually fit the mattress on here and have support, but it's been phenomenal being able to have a bigger bed. In addition to that, when we bought the trailer, we bought it with water damage in the front, so I had to rebuild the whole front wall. So I ripped all of the insulation, all the veneer that was on there because it was sagging, and these cabinets behind me, I pulled them off. Rebuilt the wall, reskinned it with new veneer. Behind there I put hardboard insulation. So after I reskinned it, I also cut, there was a bunch of cabinets right here that hung down really low, and Raina was pretty adamant about the fact that we shouldn't have those in there. It was nice for storage, but she said we'd keep hitting our heads on there, and she was right. So I ripped those cabinets out, and then we just kept these two main cabinets for our wardrobe. So that's my wardrobe, and this is her wardrobe, and then underneath we have storage that has, you know, our underwear, socks, whatever else stuff we kind of have to put away. Coming back from the kitchen, we also have our pantry right there, where that's our only pantry. So that's all of our dry storage, spices, everything that we need. And below that, we've got the converter and the fuse panel and all the guts and stuff that I had to rip out. And I changed the converter out and upgraded the fuses and put tank heaters in, and there's a bunch of stuff. But back from that wall, because we're traveling musicians, we knew we needed to bring all of our gear with us. In the very front of the trailer, I have the subwoofer for our sound system, but this is every bit of gear that we use for a gig, plus stuff we use for recording as well. There's 4 guitars up here, our 2 hiking guitars, our gig guitars, stools, the PA system, keyboard, everything we would possibly need. And then I just kind of put some netting up here because since we're traveling, I want to make sure nothing fell out, and it's worked fantastic. And then we also have the extra bunk in the back in case one of us, I snore pretty bad, in case one of us needs to dip out and sleep back here, or if we have a friend stay with us. It's always nice to have this option where we can actually, you know, sleep a third person if necessary, since the dinette table won't fold into a bed anymore. Another thing that the bunk ends up being a lot of the time is just a spot to set things, because we have more of our clothes back here. I've got my wardrobe right here, Raina's here, and then we have a catch-all down here with towels and bathroom essentials. So essentially when you're pulling stuff out of these wardrobe cupboards, you got to put them somewhere, so we'll usually set that there as a staging area. In addition to that, I also installed USB ports in 4 different places in the trailer, 1 on each side of the bed for each of us, 1 in the entertainment center, and then 1 back here in case somebody's staying and they need to charge their phone. And we also have all of our favorite maps from the national parks we've been to, plus Lake Tahoe, because we're from Northern Nevada, the Greenbelt from Boise, Capitol Reef, Bryce, Zion, which is a fantastic national park, Death Valley, Great Basin National Park. We really kind of wanted to put something on this wall. We weren't sure what we were going to do. So we just started collecting these maps and figured it'd be a really cool thing to kind of throw up here and add a little bit of flavor to the trailer. So we have the bathroom back here, and being that it's a tiny home, we have a tiny bathroom. There's a tiny toilet. It's actually a Tedford toilet. It came with the trailer. We've seen a lot of rigs that have composting toilets. We kind of kept the same toilet that was in here because eventually I think it's probably going to break, and then when it does, then I'll replace it with something that's going to be better. I mean, I do wish it was a little bit bigger because I'm kind of a big guy, but it works just fine. It's got a step down little flush thing right there. It's really simple, and it doesn't get that dirty, which is nice. And then it did have a tiny sink. When I did the countertop in the kitchen, I also did the countertop back here with the same glued edge panel from Lowe's, the shelving. So I cut a new countertop for it, and then I also found off of recpro.com, I found a bigger sink, because the sinks that come in RVs are like little almond-shaped tiny things that you can't even, like, I need to shave, I need to get my face in there. So this is nice. So I put a bigger sink in here, but in order to do that, I had to like reframe the entire cabinet so that it would fit this bigger sink, because this is literally like to the edge of the entire thing. But it works fantastic, which is nice to have a bigger sink. And then of course the vanity, and then again storage. We've got an extendable curtain rod that we kind of throw off with the cable, which is fantastic for drying like wet swimming clothes, towels, after we do laundry. It's extremely helpful. And then over here, we've also got our tiny shower, which is Actually, I'm 6 foot, and it's actually really nice because I can stand in here, and with this little cutout, I'm not hitting my head. It works out really well. There's actually quite a bit of space in it. And then we also keep Ellie's litter box in here, and it actually works really well with the exhaust fan, so there's no smell that is residual in the trailer at all, which is kind of a problem with some people that have cats, and we don't really have that problem, which is fantastic.
You and I, you and I.
We really wanted to be able to travel and see things and meet new people, but we wanted to bring our music to people as well.
This is the easiest way to do it versus going to one location. Now we get to move around and actually bring our music to multiple locations, and it just kind of broadens the net a little bit. You catch more fish that way, right?
Make you smile. And if I washed away my colors, would you see me inside?
We've met so many wonderful people, and we've had so many amazing connections. I feel like every other day we're meeting someone and we have the same conversation with them that we had with another person the day before. And when you start flowing in the river that you're supposed to be in, your people will kind of flock to you, and you'll kind of just start going through the motions together. And you'll find that things that you've been thinking of, other people are thinking of them too.
That's really, yeah, that was good, yeah. In addition to meeting people, the sad part is also having to leave those people behind.
Yeah.
We had to say goodbye to a lot of people with the hopes that we'll see them again as we're on the road.
You and I.
When we got the trailer, we knew we were going to be trying to live off-grid as much as possible. We're not really big fans of RV parks, and so one of the first things I did was I put a 200 amp hour AGM battery in the front. I couldn't really afford a lithium, so the 200 hours lasted us really well so far. We're almost at a year's worth of use, and it's doing really well. In addition to that, I put a 3,000 watt inverter inside the basement so that I can kick that on. That's what powers our microwave. It'll do hair dryers. It'll do everything we need except for the air conditioner. For the air conditioner, I have a generator that'll run that whenever we actually use it. I also put 3 100 watt solar panels on the roof that run down into my solar controller on the same bus as my 3,000 watt inverter. I was only able to fit 3 panels up there for the time being. I know I can fit more, but I wanted to see how well it was going to work. I'm looking at possibly changing some panels out as things go, because solar's kind of shaky at places. The solar's worked fantastic for us all year. Unfortunately, it doesn't work so well here because we get partial shade and it starts to block some of the cells, and it doesn't work as good. But we have the generator just in case we need to top the battery off, which happens occasionally. I've also got 2 5-gallon tanks of propane in here. I keep an extra one in the truck. That way, no matter what happens, we can always swap one out. We've always got full propane. There's nothing worse than running out of propane in the middle of the night. I don't want to do that again. I'm very fond of the basement because it runs from this side all the way to the other side, and all my tools, I'm a fixer. So I've got like 3 different toolboxes in there, plus all my power tools. On the other side, I have our subwoofer for our PA system, so it'll balance out the weight. I've got a lot of stuff in here, and it holds everything I need.
So Steve and I love to kayak, and we didn't want to leave home without them. And we tried to come up with like the best system, the best way to bring them, because we also brought the bikes, and the bikes are on the truck. So we knew we couldn't put the kayaks on the truck. And we realized that we needed to be able to put them on the back of the trailer. That was going to be the best place for them since we have solar panels on top. So we enlisted the help of my dad, who is a brilliant and talented welder, and he made us this kayak rack and specifically tailored it to our kayaks. We needed to make sure that it wasn't hanging down too low, and we needed to make sure that it wasn't sticking up too high. So my dad found the perfect balance and the perfect medium, and this thing has been bouncing up and down on so many dirt roads, and it's held strong. And we're really, really grateful to have it. Being able to kayak on water is just a really beautiful experience. So thanks, Dad.
Rain and I did a lot of traveling just with the truck before we actually purchased the trailer. And when we were doing that, we had a truck tent that fit in the bed of the truck. We went to a lot of national parks. It was fantastic. We saw a lot of stuff, and that was what kind of got me to get the truck top box, because I wanted to make sure that while we're on the road now, we can actually still do the same things we were doing beforehand. So in the rooftop box, I have our truck bed tent, plus a backpacking tent, 4 sleeping bags, our backpacking backpacks. So the idea is that we take the trailer as far as it'll go, and if it can't go any farther, then we take the truck and 4-wheel. And if we can't take the truck any farther, then we take the backpacking and we go even farther than that. So it's nice to have the versatility to go wherever we want to go and see whatever we want to see. Same with the mountain bikes. It's nice to have these guys because they, number one, it's a second mode of transportation. So in case something happens to the truck, we can hop on the bike and go get parts, get food, do whatever we need to do. So we knew that we wanted to bring our bicycles in addition to our kayaks on the road. I made a rack here for the front. I welded up a rack that kind of fit to here so that I could actually keep it on top of the tonneau cover and still have all the storage in the bed of the truck, because that's where the generator, extra propane tank, our extra water jugs, all of that lives while we're on the road. So it's nice to have the storage underneath the cover, but still have the bicycles on top. I also put a 12-volt fridge on the other side. It's a 12-volt cooler, but that's our auxiliary fridge. It's nice to have redundancy, especially in this life, because more often than not, things are breaking and you have to fix them somehow. So it's nice to have a backup fridge. That way we can move stuff from the fridge in the trailer into here, or while we're out on the road, we can actually buy groceries, put them in the cooler and not have to worry about them going bad, and then just bring it back to the trailer and put them inside. The truck's a Nissan Titan. It's a 2006. It's a 5.6 liter. It's a half-ton truck, and that was one of the considerations I had to make when I was looking for a travel trailer, is I had to make sure that I could actually tow it with a half-ton truck. And what's nice about this guy is I already have the foam blocks in the back suspension that actually help with the added weight from the trailer, but the trailer fully loaded is 6,500 pounds, which is fantastic, which is well underneath the rating for the Titan, which is 7,400 pounds. And it tows really well. It's gotten us out of every situation that we've found ourselves in, and I'm very grateful for it. Thank you so much for coming along and checking out our tiny home, which we named Tiny.
But mighty, because no matter where we are or what we're doing, inside is safe and sound and home.
If you want to follow us, you can check us out on Instagram. It's Steve_and_Reina.
Yes, and we also have a YouTube channel, which is Wandering Songs.
Wandering Songs.
Wandering Songs.
You can also check us out on Spotify. We have an album of original music. It's under the name Steve and Reina, which is our band name. The album is called What Lies Ahead. It's an album of original music. We are very proud of it.
You can also follow us on Facebook. We post all of our shows on Instagram and Facebook, so if you ever are wondering or wanting to hear us or see us play, if you follow us on Instagram or like us on Facebook, you can see when our shows are, and we might be coming to a town near you.
So if you see us out and about, or you see us singing some tunes, make sure to come and say hey.